Well, hello and welcome to another episode of More Perfect Marketing. My name is David Baer, and today I am so pleased to welcome Marco Torres on the show. I am sitting here looking at his website, which is marketingboost.com. And, we're going to talk a lot about what his business does, but if you want a solid example of a well-structured website with great examples about how to position your offer, how to position testimonials, and so much more, this is a great site to study just for the education of how to use testimonials, case studies, etc. A free offer, and so much more. I'm just geeking out on the website, and we haven't even talked about what Marketing Boost does. So we probably should jump into that. Marco, welcome to More Perfect Marketing.
Thank you, David. Glad to be here, and definitely hoping to help generate some more perfect marketing for your listeners.
Indeed. So, all right, let's back. So, I remember seeing your business initially launch several years ago, and I don't recall if it was originally called Marketing Boost or if there was a different name at the time. I sort of think it was Advertising Boost, or maybe that's I'm not quite.
No. That means you've been following our story for a while. Yes, actually, we launched in 2017 called advertisingbait.com. And the idea then was we were the hook, we were the bait, we were the bait on your hook to draw in customers. And we focused initially real quick here on generating, we had thousands of affiliate marketers was what we targeted first, so we could get affiliate marketers promoting our product. And we listened to they were telling us, we hate the word bait in the name. People think of bait and switch. And so we thought, well, you guys are the marketers, the affiliates. So we changed the name to Advertising Boost. And then a few years later, we realized, you know what? Nobody relates with it being an advertiser anymore. We're all marketers. We're all, marketing experts. And so we changed the name again to Marketing Boost a few years ago, and that's been it. We have we finally bought that URL. It cost us a bundle, but we changed the name to Marketing Boost, and that's where we're going to stay.
So I love the fact you said we're all marketing experts with that little laugh afterwards, because that's sort of true that there's a lot of people who claim to be marketing experts, and you and I both came from industries where we then had to learn how to market. You come from the travel world, and then found this as an opportunity to really help others with your knowledge of sort of the back end of the travel and hospitality and all the things that you were familiar with. Use those things as mechanisms to help people market. And so why don't we take a moment for you to sort of explain the structure of Marketing Boost, what you offer to businesses, to professional marketers, et cetera. And then we can talk a little bit about how this entire idea of I'm gonna spill the beans. It's something called incentives that we're going to be talking about. How incentives are utilized effectively in a few different places within a business. But why don't you sort of give us the big picture of what Marketing Boost provides to your customers, your users?
Cool. I'll try to make a little elevator pitch here. So we are a simple subscription model, a very affordable subscription model for any business owner around the world. We're global now. It gives for a monthly subscription, you're giving access to be able to give away an unlimited amount of 3 of the different categories of incentives that we offer. One being complimentary hotel stays in over 125 destinations around the world. 3 nights or complimentary stays, for example, in places like Las Vegas, Orlando, San Diego, Branson, Myrtle Beach, Miami Beach, Daytona Beach, all 30 destinations in the US. 5 nights in places like Cancun, Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, 4 nights in Cabo, Punta Cana, 7-night stays in places like Phuket, Thailand, Bali, and many, many more. Then we've got complimentary, then we have hotel savings cards as the second category. They come in increments of $100, $200, $300, and $500. These are like cash credits. They're like gift cards for hotel stays at over 1 million hotels anywhere in the world. They don't pay for the entire hotel stay, but they'll knock off between 10 and 50% off compared to the Expedias of the world. And then lastly, our third category is restaurant savings vouchers. So these are good at over about 100,000 businesses throughout the US and Canada. and there's savings on local restaurants, buy one, get one free, 10% off the bill, 25% off the bill, etc. So those are the three categories. And what next, we can talk about how to use those incentives with nearly any kind of business. You might be asking yourself, well, how would I use travel incentives if I'm, in finance, or if I'm a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, whatever. We'll show you some ideas of how you could use these incentives for nearly any niche on the planet.
Yeah. So let me talk about incentives for a moment, because this is an area that we work with some of our clients on. You used the word, I think, before we started recording. Wow. How do you wow people? And this is a critical piece of any strategic approach to marketing a business that we teach, which is how to surprise, delight, and wow the customer. It enhances the relationship with both a prospect as well as an existing customer, helps get people excited about referring your business, and so on. So we worked for years with financial advisors, and one of the things that financial advisors have to be really careful about is staying within the rules of their compliance, both their internal and government compliance rules. And so there's a lot of things you can't use to incentivize people. Well, one of the things that we will often recommend is giving a gift voucher to a spa, or taking people out to dinner or something to reward them for making an introduction, or maybe whatever it might be. That can get pretty expensive pretty quickly for a lot of our financial advisor clients. And as soon as I saw what you had, and you said subscription model, low rate. When you guys see the low rate on the site, you'll know, wow, this is a no-brainer. That's a great way to be able to afford to leverage incentives in a way that a lot of small businesses haven't necessarily been able to do on their own. So why don't you share a little bit about sort of the ways that you see incentives playing a role in a business?
Sure. Well, for starters, yeah, let's just cover that so listeners don't just stay with that wondering and end up going to the internet instead of listening to you and me. So the price is only $37 a month for the plan to be able to give away an unlimited amount of these travel incentives. So we priced that so we could be affordable for any business, a no-brainer anywhere in the world. So we've got business owners in India, in the Philippines, in Australia, in the United States, et cetera. So we made it, super no-brainer. When we launched this business, let me first start with a story of how this business was born, and it at the same time is going to give you a huge tip that all your listeners can listen to or maybe implement. We were in the travel space, as I mentioned earlier. We had launched a travel site that was really doing super well, and we were having, starting to really grow, one of the fastest growing travel sites in North America. But we wanted video testimonials. In our case, we wanted to be able to get people bragging about the hotels, the resorts, the brands from the resort while they were there. And we thought, we scratched our head about how can we get people to go the extra step, not just writing a review for us, but to film a selfie video of themselves at the beach, the resort, the pool, the bar, whatever. And so we came up with an idea to incentivize and provide them with a complimentary hotel stay at the time in your choice of Orlando or Las Vegas. We'd give them a bonus free trip. But here's how we did it. We did a survey. So first we'd send them an email and a text message the day after check-in and say, hey, how's the hotel living up to your expectation? How are we doing? How's our service so far? And if we got a 4 or 5 via our automation platform, which I think everybody ought to have, we were sending them immediate email and text message on autopilot saying, fantastic, we're thrilled that you're having a wonderful time at this resort. Would you do us a huge favor and help us spread the word about this resort? And if you'd film a selfie testimonial and video review of the hotel, brag about their brand and brag about ours, if you'll do that, and we'd send them a little quick, example, what to do, what to say, we'd make it easy for them. They would, we would reward them with a complimentary hotel stay. Well, that started to pour in hundreds of these video testimonials that we were then leveraging all over our website and generating thousands of additional sales. Now, the lesson learned right there is that anybody can benefit from video testimonials, and they're hard to come by. You've got to, the one thing is to generate a written review, but if you can get them to go the extra step of also doing a video testimonial, any site can benefit from a a half a dozen video testimonials, or hundreds like we have. We have thousands now. We have over 30,000 video testimonials. And so anyway, that launched the idea that, wow, these incentives really work. And then we thought, then as these people started raising their hands saying, hey, we want to use our free trip. Well, now we had to start paying for those hotel rooms out of pocket, like you were saying. So we went back to our hotel partners and we solved a problem. And this is how all of our marketing boost actually works today. We went back to them and said, look, we know you've got empty rooms. Come on, your hotel, you're full on certain weekends, you're full for holidays, you're full for special events, but 70% of the year, 30% of your rooms go empty. So if we can help you solve that problem, put warm bodies in those rooms, they're going to spend money at the bar, the restaurant, the casino, the gift shops, the excursion desks, the spa, etc. And you'll get some revenue versus no revenue. And they bought into it. And we started with just Orlando and Vegas so we could fulfill our own free trips we were giving away. And then we thought, man, this could be a standalone business. Imagine if we had hundreds of hotels participating. So that's what we did. Now we have 125 destinations, hundreds of resorts around the world participating, and hotels, and it's become a standalone business. Now, how can you use those incentives? Well, one, you could try, asking for video testimonials like we did, for example. Two, you could use them to help close more sales just by one thing that everybody has a trouble. Here's an easy tool or strategy, David, that everybody can use. Today, we're using Zoom. Everybody's using Zoom for like crazy now, which is a huge technological advantage. We no longer have to drive all across town just to sit down with somebody for 30 minutes and see if they're a qualified prospect, et cetera. So we're booking appointments, but then half of them don't show up often. So you could use an incentive to one, entice them to actually book that free appointment, no obligation consultation with you, and then use a smaller one of our incentives. We teach micro incentives for micro calls to action. So you might say, hey, book an appointment. I'm going to give you a $100 hotel savings card, good at over 1 million hotels, so you can save money your next hotel booking. And just for showing up on time for the appointment, I'm going to reward you with a $100 hotel savings card. Now, once you've got them on your call and you get the whole 40, your sales pitch out, now you might say, by the way, I'll tell you what, if you go ahead and hire us this month, this week, or by the end of today at 5, whatever urgency or scarcity you want to build into your presentation, if you go ahead and hire us this week, we do have a promotion we're running where I can throw in a 5-night trip to Cancun, Mexico on us at a AAA 4-diamond resort on the beach in Mexico at the when you reach your 6-month anniversary with us. So you can not only use the incentive to get the deal today and also make it a loyalty program based on their being with you, using your service for 6 months, or however you structure your business plan. But that's just trying to quickly give you some ideas. And again, the use of our incentives is all about just being a little bit creative and testing them in different ways.
I love that. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, because I've seen some really interesting ways that your incentives are used. I'm on a monthly mastermind call, for example, and the incentive is being offered a trip or one of the vouchers. And I think he limits it to just two cities. You have a lot of cities, but so he'll say, I think it's Vegas and Orlando. When you stay to the end, you'll be eligible for a drawing. We're going to draw 3 of these. And, right. It's a great way to, like you said, get people to show up, the retention, keeping somebody around for 6 months, or even just keeping somebody on a call to hear the end of the presentation, right?
The end of the webinar.
Yeah.
If people got things to do, they get bored, they want to bounce off. So if you're like, and during the webinar, you're reminded, hey, don't go away, because we're giving away 3 trips at the end of the webinar. By the way, we're giving them to those that are most engaged on this call. So when we ask questions on the webinar, if you raise your hand, chat, respond, whatever, we're going to pick 3 winners based on, who's most involved. And things like that are very successful in webinars to keep people engaged. Shoot, I can go on and on. I've had people, I can tell you another story. I had a guy who made over almost $500,000 in 3 days. Want to hear how?
Yes, absolutely.
This guy had he built a huge following on Telegram. This is another social media platform, and he had hundreds of people paying him $97 a month for access to his tips on when to buy and sell stock and cryptocurrencies. He has a team of guys in India analyzing all the stocks and so on. And anyway, they were paying him $97 a month. He found Marketing Boost, and he came up with a promo saying, hey, if you'll be, and he came up with a plan. Hey, if you become a platinum member and pay for 1 year in advance, we will, I forgot what he called it, but platinum, you pay for a year in advance and we will reward you with your choice of 5 nights in Hawaii or 5 nights in Cancun, with the completion of an annual membership. And if you sign up for the 6-month membership and pay for 6 months in advance, we will reward you with your choice of 3 nights in Las Vegas or 3 nights in Orlando. And he had about 300 of them step up and pay for the annual plan at about $1,100. And he had another 150 come up and pay for 6 months in advance, which was $600-700. So with the combination of the two, he generated nearly over $480,000 or something along that. Wow. In 3 days. And now that's an ongoing part of his process. He starts them at $97 a month. And after a few months of coming, now that they see the value of his product, he drops in pay for the annual plan. And this is your benefit, along with some other things that he throws in. And, he upgrades and generates a lot of cash flow.
You mentioned sort of on the side, the importance of automation. And I imagine that he's now institutionalized this and is hopefully automating all of that, which is, as you said, critical for a business, and I would agree. I want to share something, because we were talking at a conference I was at last week about your platform with some other marketers, and one of the 2 objections that I'm sure that you hear all the time, or maybe it's not an objection, misconceptions, was number 1, oh, these can't be very good hotels. And number 2, how long is the timeshare presentation I have to sit through? So I wonder if you can address those 2 things, because I imagine people are thinking those things as they're listening.
Yeah, normally I forgot to cover that right up front. There's typically the first question is coming to mind. It sounds too good to be true. So what's the catch? Well, when we decided to get in this business, we wanted to reinvent the wheel. We wanted to revolutionize the travel incentive industry. We're not the first to do this. There's others who have been around for decades. But the rest of the industry really made these incentives nearly impossible to use. So, for example, or you had to do a timeshare presentation. With all of our incentives, there is absolutely no timeshare or any kind of sales presentation required at all. So that's resolved right there. There's absolutely, and it's in writing on everything, on the certificates they receive themselves, the printed certificates on the web. Everything is no timeshare is required. 2, hotel brands that we use are 3, 4, and 5 bubble based on TripAdvisor review. Most of them are 4 and 5. Occasionally, depending upon the availability, a 3 bubble review might get in, but essentially they're 4 and 5 bubble reviews, or 4 and 5 star hotels based on TripAdvisor reviews for them to be accepted for us to use them as one of our participating hotels. So we base that on, hundreds of reviews from TripAdvisor, or thousands rather. And so
I imagine this is important for you, because you have to negotiate this at scale, right? So you're not negotiating with every little mom and pop motel by the side of the road. You're negotiating these deals with larger organizations that have, high quality, destinations.
Right, exactly. So we're looking for, brands that have multiple hotels as often as possible. Right now, I can tell you that some of the most incredible value we have right now is in Cancun, where we've recently brought on a family of resorts called the Fives on the beach, and they have a AAA rated 4 diamond resort in the Playa del Carmen area on the beach, 15 restaurants and bars, and then they have another one in Puerto Morales, another one in downtown Playa del Carmen. And then we have another resort called the Crystal that's in the hotel zone in Cancun, another very, beachfront resort. So the Cancun, if you join Marketing Moves, I'd recommend you give yourself a trip to Cancun to check out our service, and you'll be an evangelist for our brand as well.
Yeah, I want to shift gears a little bit, because we talk a lot about marketing strategy in my business. And marketing strategy is, in general, intended to help a business grow. And how does a business grow? Well, a lot of people think more leads. A lot of people think more sales. We often talk about the importance of higher net revenue. And one of the things that you mentioned to me right before we hit record was the importance of using incentives so that you do not have to discount or reduce the potential revenue that you're bringing into a business. I wonder if you can, sort of share an example or two of how some folks are using incentive in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I do preach on a lot is, we're tempted to discount, to be competitive with all of others that are in the same space. And so you want to meet their price, you want to beat their price. And with our incentives or even added value of your own, marketing boost is not the magic bullet that's going to fix every one of your problems and start, make you from zero to hero. But it can definitely be sprinkled in and become a part of your strategy that helps you grow. And so holding to your price, for example, instead of discounting, that depending upon what you do, that's where the incentive comes in. You can imagine a sales funnel page built in with a price guarantee, not necessarily a price guarantee, but you might throw in, or look, instead of saying, here, I'm going to give you a 20% discount, you're throwing in, say, if you take action this week, if you take action today, or you buy product B to go with product A, on top of that, we're going to throw in a bonus hotel stay in your choice of this destination or that. So even though we have, by the way, we have 125 destinations, like your friend does that you met in that show, we always recommend don't give people 125 choices. That means no choice at all. It's too much to think about. So pick a few based on where your marketing strategy is, where your clients live, and select the few you're going to promote, so that if you're live close to Vegas, promote Vegas and San Diego, and so on. So select destinations that are easy to use. But anyway, adding value versus discounting is the key there. There's been many a psychological study that proves that people react better to bonuses versus discounts. For example, the buy one, get one. You walk into a grocery store and they have the, all the buy one, get one bonus offers at the front of the store, for example. At least where I live in Florida, they do that. And you'll see people getting that impulse buy. They're buying stuff they didn't even need just because it looks like it's a buy one, get one, even though they practically doubled the price. And so that's an example of throwing in additional value. You could do your own value. What might that be? Well, if somebody hires you for 6 months, you might say, look, we have a loyalty program. If you do stick with us for 6 months on that anniversary, I'm going to give you the 7th month free, or the 13th month free with an annual anniversary. And on top of that, I'm going to give you the bonus incentive of 5 nights in Cancun, or whatever it might be. You might use the hold your value by, with the hotel savings cards that I mentioned earlier as well, up to $500 in hotel savings. It might sound more believable for whatever your product is. So if you don't have a high ticket item, if you're a retailer, online retailer, or your product purchase is only $497, giving them a $2,000 trip to Cancun might sound too far-fetched. But a $500 purchase online with a $500 hotel savings card as a bonus is powerful. It's like, whoa, I'm going to practically get all my money back as I book my next hotel rooms. And so that can be an example of pairing the incentive to match with the call to action. So instead of discounting that $497 to $397, you're throwing in the $500 hotel savings card to go with that $500 purchase, as an example. Or I've got a guy here's an example. I have a photographer that does weddings. And recently I was on the phone with him, and he was telling me how he sells weddings with the photograph, the videography, the whole kit and caboodle, and his competitors charge about $5,000. He does it on a national level and outsources to local photographers that he vets, and he was selling it online as the sales and marketing machine for about $2,500, taking a huge, off. The big deal for him was the price. So now he offers the marketing boost incentive in there and gives them a honeymoon trip, their choice of Cancun, Hawaii, or what have you, and he's getting $4,500. So he's still beating his competition by $500, but now he's getting the $4,500 price tag, throwing in an incentive that didn't cost him anything but $37 a month. So it's a huge value, depending upon if you can be a little creative in structuring how you add these incentives. I got another guy I just talked to the other day. He's a gun dealer, and he goes to gun shows all over the state of Florida. And when he goes to the gun shows, they're every booth, all the tables, they're all selling the same stuff. So how does he stand out from the crowd? as people approach his desk, his tables, he's got big brochures there. Any purchase gets you a bonus vacation on us, and hotel stay on us. And he's got three. You buy the AK for whatever, the more expensive weapons, and you get the 5 nights in Cancun. So he kind of puts it on a point value. If you buy the Glock here for $500, you get your choice of Orlando or Vegas, And so he's got people who weren't planning on spending the big bucks for the bigger weapon, but they want the trip to Cancun, and they're saying, well, I wanted that gun anyway. And my wife wouldn't let me buy a gun, and now she'll let me because I'm getting her the trip to Cancun. And he's getting massive sales and standing out compared to his competitors. That's just an example of a different product line, but they can be used. These things can be used for nearly anything.
Totally. I love these examples, and really what you're doing is you are setting your business up to not be compared apples to apples to the competition, but apples to oranges, because you're structuring an offer that includes a whole bunch of things the competition is never, ever going to be putting in front of their prospects. And as a result, people, it sort of confuses people, like, well, all I get when I go to the competitor is just the thing that, I expect them to deliver. You, however, are delivering far more. And that example of the, stick around for 6 months and I'll throw in 7th for free, plus the incentive. Like, if you stack these things,
right,
there's no way that anybody's gonna, look or go elsewhere. Yeah,
and that is the key, is stacking them with something that's relevant to your business. Plug in your own bonus units, course, extra value, extra month of service, something that you're throwing in of your value that really may not cost you hard dollars, is what you want to try to avoid. But that way you're creating some additional value of your own, and then the added value of, by the way, for a limited time. And here's where, even though with a Marketing Boost membership, you can give away as many of these incentives as you want, we don't recommend that. We recommend you keep them, have that perceived value, held up by using scarcity and urgency. In other words, don't hand them out like candy. Give them out as people do something of value to earn it. They've got to earn it somehow. If you're a multi-level marketer, even, you could do it with a quick start program. So you could say, hey, join our network marketing program. Here's the deal there. But I tell you what, the real key is this: I'm here to help you. I'm going to do your business opportunity meetings and all this. But if you get started quickly, if you help me sign up, or I'll help you sign up 3 people in the first 30 days, I'm going to reward you with 3 nights in Las Vegas. So if when you, for example, in multi-level marketing, you got to get them going right away. If not, they're going to, drop off. So you got to get them excited right away, get them going. And then you can use one of our incentives as the carrot to get that guy out of his chair and out working and out getting people in front of you, so you can help them build that network. If you have a sales organization, you can run contests. And you know what, David, I forgot one of the most important factors that would work really well for the financial industry that most of your listeners are, and that's leading by giving. I've got a ton of my members that are in the insurance industry, financial advisors, and so forth. And what they're doing is they're using our incentives to help brand their personal brand by supporting local nonprofits in their area. And they are they go and support local nonprofits. They go in as a sponsor. They give them a bunch of these free trips that they can auction, they can raffle off, etc. All the money goes to the nonprofit, but then they get to be there, rub shoulders with the philanthropists, and set themselves up as a philanthropist, as a hero in the community, as the authority. And as they're meeting these people, they're handing out, you're generating leads, and you're positioning yourself as obviously successful enough to be giving away free vacations to this nonprofit, that people say, wow, and you might get an opportunity to speak to the audience and say, hey, I'm the expert, and if you ever need financial advice or taxes, this, that, and the other, I'm your man. And people just gonna look, find you, look for you. So
that's brilliant. And what it does is it extends the incentive to build relationship on top of it, which is awesome. Hey, we're just about out of time. I wanted to mention, because you've been giving away such a valuable ideas here. it doesn't end here. I see it all over your website. There are, as I said, case studies galore that sort of talk about how others are using it. You guys teach how to use it, and you have this tiny little 20,000 member Facebook group where people are also sharing ideas about this, and I think that's just fabulous and really smart for you guys to have built a community around it, because what does it do? It helps reinforce the relationship with you for all of those members as well, and that's pretty darn smart.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And every one of you could be doing the same. I recommend building a Facebook group, and I've actually seen people use our incentives to help grow a Facebook group virally, by the way. So that's another tip there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that, and I'm super keen on hearing what some of the uses that some of our listeners end up implementing when they head over and sign up as members at marketingboost.com as well. But for now, I think we got to leave it here. Marco Torres from marketingboost.com. Thanks so much for hanging out and for the great insights on incentives.
Thank you, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed. Folks, this has been another episode of More Perfect Marketing. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and I hope to see you back here real soon. Take care.